All right, guys, let me know if you can hear me. Um, I really can't hear myself right now, so let me know how it sounds. If you can hear me. All right, I think I can hear myself. All right. I really can't hear. All right, guys, thank you for the 5x5. Little John, Dobie, Nostra Dumbass, Sarita, Elaine, Maria, thank you for the 5x5. Evolving Media, Flown Grown, Rhonda, Eric, Healthier, thank you to 5x5. Everybody, as you can see, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival will be joining us tonight.
What's up?
Raccoon Eyes, Courtney, thank you for the 5x5. William, Patty, Melanie, excuse me, Glick, Brian, thank you for the 5x5. Props, Dan Phillips, appreciate it, guys. If I missed Master Blaster, thank you for the 5x5. Healthier Living, Christian, Dan, thank you for the 5x5. I'm using StreamYard.
StreamYard. Yeah.
Because that other app I use, it might, you know what? It might work when it's just like, you or I on a hardwired, not hardwired, but a strong internet signal, right?
Right.
But when it's loopy, this is the way to go. So we should have probably did this on the other thing though. But I'm still trying to figure everything out. There's a lot of new features on this, by the way.
Yeah, there really is. Especially if you're on the paid side. On the paid side, it's crazy. Even on the free side, they gave folks a lot more stuff to work with. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I have to definitely start messing around with this a little more. But anyway, listen, guys. So as you know, tonight Hudson Valley's on. One of the guests that I like to have on who can hold their own.
I try. I stumble from time to time, but if it's not my area expertise, I just back right off from.
I think most of us try. We try to nail it. They said you sound garbled, and that you're breaking up. Yeah, listen, guys, you're probably gonna have to deal with it because.
Let me see if I can wire up something else here.
You see, you sound fine right there, and then.
It's wild. Let me see if I can adjust volume or something here. I'm gonna jump into the settings.
Okay.
Maybe I can turn it down or something. Let's see.
It's again. It's
adjusted the volume. You guys have to let me know if that's any better.
Let's see.
Typically I'm in a full scale recording studio. You guys have to let me know if that's any better.
Let's see. You sound better on here, but some people saying sound fine. I guess it's just depending on who's listening and what. Crackling. Yeah, listen,
yeah.
guys, it is
Apologies. Yeah, everything gets downgraded through the StreamYard, so.
That's the other thing too. That's the only thing I don't like about this. On the what you call eCam I use, if we don't use mics, everything is fine. But anyway, so I wanted to start out with the W.E.F and their bullshit, right? So, of course, coincidentally, as I'm looking up the Agenda 30 program, right? So Agenda 30, guys, is in another 5 years. And it's 17 sustainable developmental goals or development goals that they want to initiate. Now, we're five years away. Everybody's focused on right now, of course, they're pushing the 2025 project or Project 2025, right? And listen, I don't know what people are looking at, but this Project 2025 is starting to not be a good thing. They're talking about firing or laying off, 10,000 people. When he canceled the Board of Ed, the Board of Education, the federal side of it, people like the school lunches and all these other agencies were going to be picked up. The school lunches are going to be picked up by the USDA. The USDA just yesterday or 2 days ago shut that down. That they were going to be funding, right? So, like everybody who was sitting there going, "Oh, the Fed," and I understand what he's trying to do. They're trying to clean everything out and start from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah.
And start seeing where they actually want the money to go. But I'm gonna tell you this right now: the Doge thing and the amount of cleaning that they're doing, sounds like something to better Elon Musk and his mission to Mars. Hopefully, I'm wrong. But that's all I can see. And being that I don't trust Elon Musk, I don't put anything past him.
Bro, he's like super villain, right? I mean, for real. The guy launches rockets into space and they come back to Earth and fucking land.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
mean,
I mean? He's a super villain, bro. Let's face
right.
it. Let's face it.
And it's funny, when we looked at Project 2025, initially it didn't look that bad. And there were a couple of things that I was like, all right, a little red flaggy, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna worry about it. But now that I'm looking at it in its entirety, I'm like, yeah, this might not have been a fucking good idea. And it's one thing to clean up the government. I understand that. It's an entirely different ball game to let go 10,000 people with
Yeah,
no backup plan. And some people argue, well, Biden did something similar to that. We're not supposed to be the Biden administration, right? We're not supposed to
yeah,
be the administration that copies what the last administration did, and we're not supposed to sit there and look at. We're not supposed to play tit for tat. We're grown-ups,
for
right?
sure.
We're supposed
For
to be the
sure.
better party. But yeah, it's not looking too great right now. I think for those of us that voted for Trump, we might have fucked up, but we have to wait and see.
Yeah,
We're only 3 months in, so we got to wait and see how much worse
for
this is
sure.
going to get.
For sure. It
Um,
seems like a mad scramble, right? Like a total mad scramble for everything. And he's just trying to grab as much as he can right away to get control of all of this, it seems like. Because it is for sure a mad scramble.
and somebody was like, Charles John, two first names. That's a serial killer right there. Anyway, he goes, are you going to get on the Musk is evil bandwagon as well? Charles John, because you probably haven't followed me that long, I've been on the Musk is evil bandwagon before everybody else jumped on. I've been saying that for years that I do not trust this man. There's something about him that just doesn't feel right. Before he
Yeah.
was in political power, before I do not like this man. There was this, and I am never, not that I'm never wrong. I am rarely wrong about shit like that. When I first saw Elon Musk, I didn't trust him. When he started trying to act like the cool guy to get everybody's, respect, I don't trust the man. And that's because there's something about him that is very, I think, nefarious.
Mm.
Everybody else, like you, Charles John, serial killer with the first two names, um, you're gonna sit there and think he's the end all be all sliced bread kind of guy, and that is not it. You want to think for yourself, think for yourself. Like I said, I don't like him personally because there are things about him that just don't sit right with me. Period. And thank you, Prepper Revelator. He goes, any dude who wants to implant brain stuff to control people is no good. Absolutely. He disguises it under, oh, let's get the crippled people who can't use their legs. We'll put some shit in them and see if they can start walking again. That is a
Yeah.
mask. That's a mask.
Yeah, totally could be, man. I mean, there's so much that he could do with that chip as far as controlling people, their thoughts, their speech, the things that they see. You know what I mean? Once you're tapped into the brain and you're sending electrical impulses in there, who the hell knows what you could possibly do, right? You're going to create the next freaking Terminator or the next, cyborg type thing. Not really what we're looking for nowadays.
No, we're not. And that brings me to the next subject of what Bill Gates said today or yesterday about, hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Bill Gates, within 10 years, AI will replace many doctors, teachers. Humans will not be needed for most things. Now, I have said
Yeah,
this that in the next 5 years, I think 5 years, that anybody sitting at a desk is not going to be needed. Right? Those are the first
yeah,
group of people to leave. And Bill Gates is raising the stake and saying 10 years. So again, and I think Elon Musk is definitely in competition with a top secret AI program that he's definitely working on, and we're not privy to it, obviously. He's gonna release some shit, and it's gonna be like one of his kids' name, fucking, Electrolyte or whatever the fuck he names his kids, Apple, and that's gonna be the new AI.
XB4692, right? Some
There you
shit
go.
like that.
That's right. That's a better one. I'm sitting at a desk right
He's
now.
got some
Yes.
crazy names for his kids, man. What the fuck?
And people go, oh, because he's smart. No, he's a fucking listen. You could be the smartest man in the world. That doesn't mean you have common sense. right? And
Yeah.
Elon Musk doesn't
Yeah.
have common sense. He really doesn't.
Book smarts and street smarts are two totally different things. I don't think
Yes.
there's any street smarts in that man whatsoever. As far as book smarts, he's read every fucking book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But street smarts, common sense, those things don't necessarily go hand in hand with somebody who's a bookworm or a tech nerd. You know?
And here's where I lost all trust for him when he gives those news updates, right? In the Oval Office, which he should never be doing. With his
Yeah.
kid there while he's giving those press conference is a giant red fucking flag. And everybody else is sitting there going, "Oh, that's so cute. It's adorable." It isn't fucking cute. It's not adorable. There's something wrong with it. The press conference should be held fucking, I don't know, in the briefing office, the stage that they have. That's where he should be giving a press conference, not in the fucking Oval Office. That is, and I've never seen anybody do that, like ever, and not a low ranking position, though some people argue it's not low ranking. All right. Nonetheless, it's fucking bad, man.
For sure. It's nuts, man, to see. He's almost like Trump's little lapdog at this point, honestly, because that's what it looks like every time you see one of them. The other one is right next to him, almost on his fucking lap at this point. It's like, holy shit, dude. I mean, ride his dick much? What the fuck?
I know, like it's fucking it's bad. It's really bad. Again, I don't like any of it. It's like when you looked at Kamala Harris. You knew Kamala Harris was like a bag of shit.
Oh
You
yeah,
you didn't have to dive into her history. You're like, she looks like a bitch. And then she proved a lot of us right. I wasn't wrong about her. I definitely wasn't wrong about Biden, though. Biden's curveball was him getting sick as we were watching him decline. That was a little off-putting.
Yeah, it was really weird listening to his speeches because it was like half of it was coherent and a dude that you could totally get behind, and then the second half of his speeches would just like rambling nonsense of a madman who was losing his mind. It was really freaking weird with Biden towards the end. Really weird.
Yes, it got weird. Charles John is like, Charles is my first name. Am I saying your name right? Because it's spelled kind of weird. Whatever. It's Charles John. All right, I said that. I said Charles John. Still two first names, dude. I don't know where he's like trying to split hairs over here. But you were wrong about Project 2025. I was wrong about Project 2025. Initially, when I reported it, I was like, it seemed to be a good idea. But now watching them enact it, I'm like, fuck, what's wrong? I completely missed that mark. So again,
the W.E.F. that actually stands for "we're enormously fucked," right? We're enormously fucked.
That's what it seems like. Somebody just
it does.
Somebody just wrote in the comment section, "We're on the world stage." Yeah, man. I think we're the fucking puppets, though. All of us. We're all being had. We're all being lied to. I think there has to be a revolution at this point. I think we just have to get it together and start beating the balls off these politicians. All of them. Left-leaning, right-leaning, center, all of them need to start getting their shit smacked around because this is bad.
You think the Dems are going to start it this summer? Another summer of love this year with Trump's first time out. Man, they're starting to actually call for violence, like, protests and stuff. Chicks are getting up on stage talking about, if you don't take him out, there will be violence. And you're crazy, lady. You're absolutely crazy.
Which you need to, you only need to stop typing in capital letters and shouting and rude. All right, so someone's being funny. It's funny that I watched a video. It was on Instagram. I'm going to try to find it on Twitter, where this guy was like, I'm going to, we need our military to take Trump out. And I'm like, wait, what? He goes, and if they do so, we will celebrate them in the biggest way possible. And I was just like, used to threaten the president, used to get a visit, and then used to get locked up. Now people threaten presidents left and right, whether it's Biden or Trump, and they're getting away with this. I'm like, when the fuck did this become a thing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's they get more and more unhinged as the days go on, and as it gets warmer, I get more concerned that they're going to be even more emboldened, because we all know they're fair weather protesters. They only fight in fair weather. They're not going to be out there in the rain and the cold and the snow. They ain't going to do it because lefty's soft as shit, right?
Yes.
So we know they ain't going to push that button. They're going to hang home and gather up all their little goons and get ready for the warm weather. Then they're going to come out and cry and have their protest and throw shit and set things on fire like they do. And then, as soon as it starts to get cold again, they'll crawl back in their hole, and we can have the winter and the fall. So it's nice.
Yes, that's all we have left is the winter and the fall, because the liberals are out picking apples and fucking skipping in the in the forest with the fall leaves behind them, taking selfies and shit. That's why they're not out there doing it. Dan Phillips, I have 3 first names actually. Jason Christopher Charles. So fuck you.
Oh,
but, yeah. He was like, yeah, no. My mother's like, that's the name of a president or a psychopath. You choose. Like. She was like, she was so adamant about it. Sounds like the name of a president. I learned
the 3 names is like they're not psychopaths, but hitmen, assassins get the 3 names, right? You get John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald, all those guys.
Yeah, so I'm. She's like, she's sitting there naming me. She's like, and it's funny because like parents, they always have this delusion that their kid's gonna be like the president or the next this that. I'm like, no. I'm going to be a firefighter. I said that you did all of that just for me to run into burning buildings. I said, sorry, John Wayne Gacy. Nice.
There's another one.
James Earl Cash. Oh, James Earl Jones, prominent actor. There you go.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Jeffrey Dahmer's only had 1 first name. Nice little John. Very good. I tell you one thing, the chat is always fucking on point.
Oh, man, these guys are the best.
Yeah. They're always on point. They're fucking. They keep you laughing. Well, some of the bantering that goes on amongst them is even better sometimes.
Hilarious. I'm just upset. I'm not in there typing, getting everybody more pumped.
Riled up.
End time, baby.
Riled up.
Fuck your feelings.
So now, listen, man. I have to ask you your personal opinion. What do you think, or how do you think the rest of this year is going to play out?
I think the left's already emboldened. I think they have big muscles. I think they also think that they have more than half the country behind them. And what I think they're going to find out is there's only a handful of them, and it's going to be a mess here when it starts to get warmer. I think the left are emboldened. They're going to try and pull some more stunts as far as Musk is concerned with the EVs and the Tesla dealerships and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that's going to get a lot worse. I do have my concerns about terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. That's a big concern of mine recently. There's a lot of stuff floating around the channels of potential terrorist attacks before April 1st. So definitely something that I'm, my radar is up about and keeping an eye on. I watched Sean Ryan podcast with Sarah Adams and Legend and another special ops dude. And they were talking about the attacks in Israel and how, they came and they donned first responder gear. And you're talking about 8 to 10 highly trained individuals taking it to first responders because they're wearing the same gear. They waited for the first responders to show up and then mowed them down and then had their way with whatever they wanted because nobody else was coming.
Right.
It's serious concern of mine here on the homeland. And, I keep prepping, bro. Keep prepping, keep stacking the food, keep putting away water and water filters because it don't look good. You look across the pond and it looks even fucking worse, man. Ukraine's going at it. We're bombing the Houthis more. They just re-ramped up that campaign last night. So, Israel's going ham in Gaza right now, and Syria's a failed state. Everybody's trying to get a piece of it. We are one fuck up away from World War III going hot across the board.
Which I'm starting to think that's not the main goal anymore. I think the main goal is to cause major destabilization in every country without launching a nuclear weapon. Because it seems like we're all turning in on each other. All countries, all regions, are turning in on each other. It's funny you mentioned. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
It's funny that you mentioned military activity because the other night I was talking about military activity, and I said that if you see more than like one helicopter flying up the river, it's a concern. And what you just said, I didn't know about until just now. But my buddy sends me a video of 3 Blackhawks down in Brooklyn area circling. And then, like, and that was a half hour after he sends me the video, a half hour after I see them going up the Hudson River. And they're flying low, as low as I've ever seen them, over Manhattan by the river, right?
Bro, I see him on a regular basis now. At least 3 in a pack that'll head south from north of me, because they're flying south when they come past me. I'm 2 hours north of you, so they're flying a long way. I don't know if they're coming from Albany or all the way from Fort Drum, right? I think that's the closest fort that we have here, aside from Massachusetts, but right down, the east side of the Hudson River. And then a couple hours later, I'll see them come back up the west side of the Hudson River. They fly right over my house all the time.
Yeah, but my question is, why were they circling down in Brooklyn?
Yeah,
right.
I don't know, man, but they've been flying hot and heavy lately. I don't know why. Always in packs. Rarely do you see one single helicopter anymore. It's almost always 3 of them at least.
Right, and so that because I used to see them like one at a time coming up and down the river here. They're 3 in a pack today, and I know that there's that base down in Brooklyn, MEPS,
Okay.
right, the military indoctrination area. Well, not just the Marine. It's not the Marine Corps, it's the military, right? So like all branches go there. But I'm like, when I remember by MEPS, I don't remember there being a field big enough to land 3 fucking Blackhawks. And again, my buddy was filming the video, and I'm like, that's interesting. I said, why the fuck would they be doing that? And now they're talking about a possible attack as close as April. You said April 1st? That's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff I saw on Instagram, a couple posts from people that I didn't know, but just different things that people had put out. And I'm like you, bro, where I'll look at that, I'll put it in the back of my head and go, oh, that's wild. Maybe take a screenshot and send it to somebody and say, hey, you heard anything about this? But just try and listen and put that information in the back of your head and be like, hey, man, time to keep the radar up right now.
And Paul F. Yes, for Hamilton. Thank you. That's what I meant. And Tara Baspain. I don't know. I'm sorry if I fucked your name up. She goes, Civil War in Israel soon. BB changed the Supreme Court in Israel, making himself no shit. The Israel Congress had a full-blown riot today. No shit. Let me put that.
Bro, it's devolving. Eventually, after all this hierarchy and power structure falls apart, we need good leaders of just the people, not politicians, but people like you, bro, to step up and say, listen, enough is enough. This is how we're handling things from now on. Just somebody with a voice to step up that people could get behind. Because when this all falls apart, we as a community need to come together for our common good. We need to put all our differences aside. If you're into preparedness, if you're a prepper, if you're a survivalist, if you're an old time, you like the old steam equipment and hand tools and shit like that. When everything goes south, we're all going to need each other. We're going to need all the farmers and doctors and nurses and teachers that we can find to rebuild society after these fuckers destroy it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think the way they destroy, if we go nuclear, rebuilding is going to take us hundreds of years to get back to here. If they go full nuke, they can also effectively end all life on the planet if we go full nuclear, which is why I think the what I was saying earlier about how we're turning in on each other and fighting within. Maybe that'll keep us from nuking one another. But I know right now, I mean, I just learned about Israel. I'm going to look more into it when I get off of here.
That's serious.
You got other countries.
Turkey.
You got other countries breaking down as well. I'm like, all right, so then it's not a, United States versus China or United States versus Russia thing. It's U.S. versus U.S. Because I know Russia right now is going through some bullshit that they're trying to keep on the wraps. At least a month ago, I heard that they had the possibility of either a civil war or another military dude going after Putin. That was a month ago.
No
and I
kidding.
didn't hear anything. But I could have sworn someone was saying that Russia's about to break as well. The only country right now that has like a stronghold is China. China looks like they're
Yeah.
holding their own, and the Chinese people are scared of the Chinese government so much that I don't see them flipping the switch. At least not now. But it seems like everybody else is, and I just find
Yeah.
it convenient that it's all happening within the same time.
You know, China could be a lot worse than what we know because of the firewall that they have there, right? I mean, when the Hong Kong protests were going on, we got to see a little bit of that because they really didn't have total control of Hong Kong yet. But as soon as they gained control of those cameras and everything there, they just shut it down. You know, you never saw another thing out of the
Sure.
people from Hong Kong. It just total media blackout. They own the internet over there. They say what people see outside of China, and they always want to paint that rosy picture that everything's fine here, while they're loading boxcars with their own people. You know.
True. Somebody just Scrappy Cat just said it's not as what you call as you think. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know I know that they were holding their own, but even if it's breaking down, they just have a way stronger. There's more fear from the Chinese people, and it's a mixture of fear and respect. Like the
Yeah.
Asian side of that world, the Japanese, the North Koreans, the South Koreans, they have like this respect for one another. So that
Yep.
mixed with fear is going to be harder for those people to break. Whereas we here in the United States have been cowboys from day one, right?
Yeah.
From the inception of this country, it's been the wild fucking west, the entire country. So when it comes to slavery, when it comes to building the West, it's always been out of control here. So
100%. 100%. We were born with a rebellious spirit,
right,
born of revolution. It's in our blood here. So
and the thing is, it was contagious, right? Because there were people who
yeah.
thought I did not notice when I was learning about slavery, but there were people who thought slavery was going to last forever. And I was
Mhm.
like, what? How did they? And I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that people thought that was going to last forever because it didn't last forever in Egypt, right? It didn't last forever
Yeah.
in what was it, Rome? It didn't last forever in Greece. It didn't last forever in a lot of part of the world, and they thought it was going to last forever here. And I was just like, what the fuck made them think that? That was the most bizarre thinking I've ever heard.
It's crazy.
Dropping under your desk is not going to save you from a nuke. No, Valley Parks. I don't understand that training either, but okay. And my mother partook in that shit. Climbing under the desk and hoping for the best kind of deal.
That's right. Bend over, kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, definitely going to be a problem if we do go nuclear because there's just too many things going on right now. It's hard to focus on one.
It
You have
really is.
I just heard the other day something about the seven mountain mandates or some shit like that, and that
I
we're
heard nothing about it.
witnessing. Say again?
I heard nothing about it.
Yeah. My son's mother texted me and she's like, "What do you think?" And I go, "Yeah, the seven mountains mandates. There's seven mountain aspect of society that believers seek to dominate: family, religion, education, media, excuse me, business and government, and that the Christian society or religious society is looking to gain control or dominate in that way." Now, the seven mountain mandates, when I read that, I looked at it as the Muslims. The
Yeah.
Muslims right now here in the United States are trying to get a foothold, and we're seeing it. No one's paying attention because we're looking at the Hasidic Jew community and blaming them for fucking everything that's gone wrong so far. But the Muslims are moving up in rank in the power structure, and nobody's saying it because they don't want to seem racist, and or people just don't believe it's happening. But I'm looking around, man, and I'm like, yo, these fucking people are making moves, man, and
Yeah.
no one's calling it out, which is fucking bad. It's bad to sit there and watch it and not call it out because you're scared to be called a racist. Call me
That's
a
big.
racist all fucking day. I do not
That's
care.
big. I know. I know they had a plan ages ago, and I remember hearing it. God, it had to be 10 years ago now. To take Europe without firing a shot. Their
Yes,
goal was go to Europe, move to Europe, and outbreed the local population 10-1.
and that's what they're
And
doing.
they're winning.
Yeah,
They're winning hands down.
and the thing is,
Europe will be majority Muslim in a few years.
and the crazy shit. There was an article last year, 2 years ago, where they said this is the new face of Europe, and it was a Muslim family on the cover. I want to say Times, but I'd be wrong. But I was looking at that. I was like, holy shit. So now they're going to try to start doing it here. The only problem with here is that we have a little more balls in Europe, and we're probably going to put up a little more of a fight. But they're going to try. That's without a doubt. They're definitely going to try to get it done here as well. So people need to be, I don't know, Johnny on the fucking spot with this and start having more kids, because our society is telling us not to have kids. This society is giving women, they're throwing fucking ticker tape parades for women that have abortions, right? Yeah, I'm being a little dramatic with it, but you see what's going on. Women are like, yes, I get pregnant just to have abortions. And yes, a lady did say that on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, and she was like, I just want to kill more babies. And I'm like, disgusting. And that's when I said, I hope she gets ovarian cancer. And that was like my reply. It was like, I hope your vagina falls out of your body. Because why would you like act? And the thing is, like, women don't understand, you can only get so many until you stop having kids. You know?
You're gonna ruin yourself.
Or you continue to get pregnant, but your body can't hold it, right? So it's always it's mind-boggling when left people do shit like that or say dumb shit like that. I'm like, and we're supposed to sit idly by and do what? You know, just fucking, you know, like, oh, okay. Listen, I'm sorry, but sometimes ass whippings need to be handed out.
For sure. The other side of their plan was overwhelm welfare systems.
Right.
You know, they can have multiple wives, so they take as many wives as they can, have as many kids as they can with every wife, and put a huge burden on the welfare system to drain the government of money and resources. So they're breaking down the government at the same time as they are outbreeding the local populations, like exponentially. So there's really no chance to catch it. You know, once a birth rate drops below like 2.1%, there's no fixing it. And the United States of America is only at like 2.1% because of the immigrants from South America, in all honesty, because they have way more kids than we do.
Yes.
I can't afford any more kids. If I could, I would have more kids, but kids are motherfucking expensive, bro.
They are
expensive.
But I did my part. I have 5. Well, 4 now. But, you know, I did my part, man.
Winning.
Right. Because people are like, oh, I'm like, yo, that's why we're going to lose, because this society is also telling people it's not worth having kids. Kids are a big endeavor. Like, they're trying to make kids like Mount Everest. And I'm like, it's not that bad, man. Yes, they can be expensive. But the one thing I know about humans is that when you have kids, you adapt. That is just the bottom line. There's no like, you know, when people tell me, you know, like you just said, you know, I don't want any more kids because they're expensive. But if you had another one, you would make it work, right?
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
And so that's the one thing I know about society of humans is we always make it work. Look at the Jews; they pump kids out all the time. You know, at least the Hasidic community does. They're always dropping kids so that they can get more of a paycheck from the government. But people never want to talk about that bullshit. They're like, well, you can't talk about them. Yeah, they're like, oh, you can't talk about the Hasids. You know, the Holocaust. I'm like, what the fuck does the Holocaust have anything to do with them raping the system the way they do? It has nothing to do with it. But then you're an anti-Semite. I'm like, you know what? Listen, I'm an anti-Semite. Apparently, I'm racist. I'm chauvinistic. I hate myself. I hate people. I hate children. I think I hate everything. I think I checked all the boxes. I'm pretty sure I did. And it's just that, like, you know, when you talk out against people, like I talk out against Native Americans and their bullshit, right? They're always like, woe is me. And I'm like, but you people were savagely beating and raping one another. Then the white man came in and did their bullshit. And then everybody looked at the white man and goes, look what they did to us. But you guys are doing it as well. And the problem is, if Native Americans would have stuck together, right? If they would have stopped their bullshit when the white man got here, and they're like, guys, we got to bring it together. Let's fucking take this enemy out together and then get back to our bullshit. They didn't do that. And so then they got taken advantage of. But, you know, they always cry to woe is me bullshit. I'm like, yo, enough.
Bro, give me 1 second. I got to go grab a drink real quick. Okay, I'll be right back.
Go ahead. So, like I was saying, you know, the whole woe is me thing, it's getting old, you know, and everybody's playing the woe is me. You got the Hasidic Jews talking about the Holocaust still. I'm like, half of you weren't even there. And the other half, that not the other half, more than half of them weren't there. Excuse me. You know, you got the black community crying about white man treating them bad. I'm like, everybody needs to stop playing the blame game and move forward. You know, and that's as simple as that. Children are a blessing, Sheila. That's what I don't understand why people don't get that. But whatever. I guess I'm old fashioned. Children will make you adjust. Yes, exactly. You have no choice but to adjust when you have kids. You know, you don't go, oh, I have fucking 8 kids. Let me continue living my single life. It don't work that way. The kids will fucking definitely check you, whether you like it or not. No, absolutely. Don't regret being a dad at all. Children will make you adjust. Well, listen, that's the other thing too, Hats. I've noticed that when people of different cultures are together, we can get along and we can get along fine. But once we go back into our respective corners, everything falls apart. Everybody's back in their bullshit. This is why I don't stand with one group of people. I'm half Puerto Rican and half Caribbean. I don't sit there and like, half the week I'm with the Puerto Ricans and, mira and chancletas and that shit. And then going with the Caribbeans and fucking talking about, fucking coconut cake, or whatever the fuck they eat over there. Like, you stand in the middle, man. You just, you be yourself. You don't sit there and bend because you're hanging out with certain groups of people, which people normally do.
Yeah, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. If you ever meet me, most people realize that what you see here is what you get in person. I am me all the time. It doesn't matter who I'm around. It's always just me. I never pretend to be somebody I'm not or act different around other people. Some people you got to be a little bit more polite around. The hoity-toities. It's like, oh, hey, sir, how are you? But then I see you. I'm like, bro, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I don't.
So
I'm the same everywhere. However I talk to people, I talk to people straight up. The other day, there was a chief in the firehouse, and he was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Same shit, different day, right?" And he looked at me like he didn't know how to like. He was like, "Did he?" That's yes. I speak to like this to everybody. They don't give a shit about Obviously, with your rank, there's respect, right? So obviously, you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. But my pattern of speech doesn't change no matter who you are. I'll even talk to a kid like that to a point, I mean, like minus the cursing. I won't say shit, fuck, piss in front of a kid, but my pattern of speech pretty much stays the same.
yeah,
It doesn't. I couldn't do it. I could not do it through life, man. Bending and shit like that. It wasn't my forte. Um,
no. I mean, I know when to be polite and when to be an asshole. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an asshole all the time, and people just either accept it or not.
True
Some
story.
people are like, oh well, we don't like him because of the way he talks to us. Then I'm not your cup of tea, man. Fucking, go somewhere else with that bullshit. Go get some fucking lavender tea from someone else, because I don't fucking do that. I'm fucking.
We don't serve that here.
No, right. We
This is
fucking don't.
RNN, baby.
And the
I was
crazy thing is, like,
heartbroken to find out that RNN didn't stand for Real News Network. Man, I was totally taken by surprise by that. When I heard you say what RNN stood for, I was a little taken back because I've been calling myself a correspondent, but I don't feel like I fit the bill.
Oh yeah, well listen, you can say it too. Listen, there are white people that say that shit all the time to keep their teeth out, right? They go nigga,
Not
nigga,
this
nigga.
one.
Yeah,
Not
no, well,
this
yeah,
one.
maybe not you, but there are people that
Not
do it.
this one.
Hey, listen, words are words, and I don't see getting offended over words. Actions, on the other hand, that's an entirely different ballgame, man. You can call me
Yeah.
a nigga all day, but as soon as you like cross the line, put your hands on me, say some shit, it's now we're off to the races.
Yep.
But you can say what you want. Like who was I? No, I just saw an article. One of the those Mormon people with the 8 wives. I
Oh
think
God.
one of the wives just said that their husband was a racist. Like, yes, he's a racist. I'm like, and so what? Who gives a fuck? The guy's a racist. Let him be a racist. If anybody wants to be a racist, there are a ton of black people that are racist. Those are the people every day that are like, the white man this and the white man that, and I don't want to associate myself with this white guy and that white guy. We don't fucking throw them under the bus. If you want to be racist, be racist. Racist people will stay in their corners. They'll stay away from you. They're not gonna fucking,
Yeah.
for the most part, they won't bother you. But
Yeah. Well, they typically stick to their own kind. You know what I mean?
They do.
They want to be surrounded with that racist bullshit that
But
gives them
they're
their jollies, I guess. I don't know.
but they're groups of people like Spanish groups that stay with their own. They do it all the time, and no one calls them out on it. You know, when white
Yeah.
people want to stay to their own, they're like, "Oh, he's being a racist." I'm like, "No, he just not want to deal with us." And I understand. I don't want to deal with us sometimes. Hell, I don't even want to deal with people on a fucking daily basis. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you are. I just don't want to deal with
Mine's people. The color doesn't matter. It's just
no,
people in general.
it's the people. Unfortunately, though, the attitude of certain groups always takes hold, right? If you live in a neighborhood like this, it's the Dominicans. If you go to Harlem, it's the blacks. If you go downtown to the fucking rich white area, it's the rich white folks. Then you
Yep.
have the uppity white people who think they're rich, but they're not. The hipsters, right?
Yep.
They're all fucking shimmying down the street thinking they're cool and shit with their fucking fedoras, right? And then you have the fucking Hasidic Jews and their bullshit, the Indians, the dothead Indians, excuse me. You have the Koreans and their bullshit. The Chinese, forget it, they're fucking always full of bullshit. But everybody has their bullshit, so it comes down to race. But you also realize that groups of people, when they're together, they live in their bullshit.
True. It's true. Zoomer prepper, I'm never scared to say how I feel. Honestly. I always tell it like it is. I say exactly how I feel. It's gotten me in trouble a couple times for saying how I feel on live streams and whatnot. Well, not in trouble, but visits from people that you really don't want visits from. Yeah, I'm not one to mince words or tiptoe around a subject.
No, they can visit me again. I don't give a fuck because it's amazing that whole when that visit went down. Like all I thought was you. I was like, shit, man. They fucking because with you it was a couple of months before
Yeah,
when they visited
yeah,
you, right? It
just
was like
before,
4 or 5 months
just
or some shit.
before.
Right.
I definitely went off on the FBI in a live stream. It was after a school shooting, and I just fucking let him have it, bro. I just let him have it. You know, I totally let him have it. And apparently they were watching because they left me a card that says that they needed my expertise, and then proceeded to question me about if I knew people looking to do harm. And it told me again how important the First Amendment is while they were here to shut me up.
Yeah, they always say that shit. They're like, "Oh, the First Amendment," and I'm like, "What do you know about the First Amendment? If you're sitting here breaking my balls," and I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's a little girl somewhere in somebody's fucking trunk being transported from state to state. But let me break my balls and pick my brain on I'm like, come on,
Yeah, yeah.
like enough already with the fucking bullshit. Someone's asking, visit by who? We were both visited by the FBI, 2 separate occasions. Right.
Yep.
So, and obviously he lives all the way upstate, and then they have
Yeah,
the New York office.
mine wasn't just the FBI. It was the what do they call it, the JTTF, the Joint Terrorist Task Force, New York State Police, FBI, those
Oh, okay.
public-private partnerships.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I mean, listen. After the whole J6 thing, I got a visit from the Joint Terrorist Task Force of the NYPD under the guise of the FBI, and then the FBI visited me on a separate occasion a couple years later. So it will not be the last time. I am pretty fucking sure of it. But the crazy shit is like I looked at my videos. I'm like, I don't know where they get like visiting me and like what
Oh,
purpose.
I know where they got mine from. I told them straight up, come to my house. I'll fucking tell you. And
oh, they
they
took that as
did.
an invite then. Oh,
Yeah, they totally did. So they came, and like I asked for, they came and knocked on my door, but they didn't call first. I was a little bummed about that. I did ask for them to call before they came because we live out in the woods. Don't want you to show up when I'm not here.
Right.
Lexi Baker, I'm just a dude. Just a dude.
Yeah, that's people like why did they visit you? And I'm just like I don't fucking know. And then I said maybe because I called out Trump being assassinated, and then there was an attempt on his life. And immediately after that, not immediately, like a week later, they visited. They've actually
2 days. 2 days after the last attempt on him, the one in Pennsylvania, I got a phone call from them asking if I had heard of anybody looking to do harm. And of course not. And if I did, I would have fucking said something because somebody looking to hurt somebody, On the real side, that shit's crazy, bro. Throw them under the fucking bus.
But they're looking at the wrong group, though. Like there's an active group of liberals threatening Trump's life every day, and they said,
absolutely.
"Oh, let's go visit the black and the white guy that fucking votes conservative and see what he knows." I'm like, doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm not a complete fuck. I'm not that smart, but I'm not that stupid either to sit there and fall for this bullshit. So they were definitely looking for something else. That was for sure.
Fishing,
they weren't
fishing,
yeah.
and I think it was also intimidation tactic. You know, just before election time, I think it was intimidation tactic, man. Get you to shut the fuck up, stop posting your videos, just shut the fuck up, basically. And you know, I'm not the type to really shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, who is? I mean, imagine being scared of the FBI. It's the FBI. It's a bunch of tampons in a fucking uniform. That's all they are. They're not fucking like they're not the old guys they used to be and all of this crazy shit, man. I don't understand. Like, you know, obviously, if I go out for my late night walk and I don't come back, all right, they got me. You know, but
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
I was like, Jason, listen, if I disappear, bro, I'm gonna tell you what happened, okay?
yeah.
They came to my
I
house,
tell
man.
people all
I
the
could be
time.
gone, bro. I could be gone.
Yeah, we could definitely go missing, but I mean, like, there's way too much at play right now for them to be like, oh, let's focus on these two guys. I mean, like,
Yeah,
again, I don't understand. There's fucking missing
yeah.
kids all over the place.
You know,
And
the first thing that came to mind was perhaps I know somebody that is a fucking piece of shit or plotting something that I really don't know about, right?
right,
So I kept on them. I'm like, so who exactly is it that you're looking for? You know, what
right,
if you can't give me any specifics about what exactly you're looking for, who exactly you're looking for, or how they may be acting, I can't do anything for you. You know, I could keep my eyes out if you said, hey, we're looking for a dude that looks like this, he acts like this, and this is what he's going to be talking about. But when you're vague and just saying, oh, you know, anybody who's looking to do harm, it's like, well, have you looked into the Democrats, because they've been talking a lot of shit lately? And the response was, you know, just the usual. Like, yeah, just the usual vile bullshit. That's all. So apparently that's not an issue, but when you speak out when they drop the ball, that's an issue.
well, and you know, yeah, again, someone was just saying they were trying to intimidate us. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how
I don't know.
intimidation is supposed to work for people like us. Like, yeah, maybe if you black bagged me and I disappeared and you started fucking pulling fucking fingernails, you know, with pliers kind of shit, maybe
Yeah,
that would work. And even then, that would just probably piss me the fuck off,
yeah.
you know, and be in pain at the same time. But I don't understand how, like, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree. I mean, again, there's so many liberals out there, man. They're just like every day they're threatening this dude's life, and no one's visiting them. I mean,
I
I
think
don't
the
know if
biggest thing
anybody's
is
visiting.
we've seen the left get violent, right?
Yeah,
We've seen them shoot up a Republican baseball game, right?
right,
We've seen them start the riots, throw the bricks, throw the Molotovs, light the shit on fire. Um, when we do something, we vote with our dollars, our feet. Just pick our ass up and walk the fuck out. People are moving out of states that they don't like. People vote with their money. They just don't buy shit, right? You saw what happened to Bud Light and Nike and all these different companies as they went woke. People stopped spending their money there. Uh, we do things a little differently than they do. When they don't get their way, they go violent, and
right.
that's what concerns me the most, because they've been doing it for shit 8 years now. You know, since the first Trump term when we had the summer of love, and they've been silent for a couple of years, and I think they're itching to get back at it, man.
Well, listen, I hope so. It's very good content for the channel. They start acting like idiots. Um,
Yeah,
you know, like the whole you know, riot thing that they were doing with the Palestinian shit. It's funny. There was two girls in where the fuck was I yesterday? They were skipping in the supermarket up the block from me, and they were skipping in, and I looked at them. It was two young girls too. I'm like, they smell like vaginosis. I was like, ugh, just the way they walked in the store. Then like they didn't comb their hair, they looked dirty. And then I said, I bet you they're liberals because I don't have my glasses, or I'm not going to buy them either. But from a few miles away, a few feet away, I'm like, yeah, they look dirty and they look like they stink. So anyway, with that, they start skipping closer, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I said, fucking
Skipping.
liberals, right? And I said it loud, and then the girl, like the Palestinian girl, stopped and looked, and I was just like, don't do it. I was like, just, and then she fucking turned around, said something to her friend, and walked away. I was just like, oh my god, these fucking girls. And then she had the pin on the I stand with Palestine or Gaza or some shit like that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of these countries. I really don't. Like, and it's funny. I was thinking about it today, or the other day, rather. Excuse me. Well, everybody's like stands with Gaza and everybody stands with Israel, and I'm like, who cares? Who the fuck cares? Standing with those people are not going to put more money in my bank account. It's not going to stop what's happening there. It's not all of a sudden going to make you a better person or a bad person. It's all bullshit, man. I mean, the way that whole invasion went down with Israel, I think Israel was behind it, 100% now.
Bro, so sketchy. They had to have had some knowledge and allowed that.
Yeah, and there was a soldier. Was it the IDF soldier? He was stating in a video, which they ultimately trying to clean off the internet, that he started raising questions. Proper Revelator, thank you. He started raising questions as to what was weird about that attack, and he just said he went down the checklist, and then of course his video gets deleted. But anyway, and then then you got Palestinians being caught faking some of these people being hurt. Right, so now we got both sides playing us. Right, we got the Israelis playing us with their bullshit, and then you got the Palestinians fucking playing us with their bullshit with the fake kid, like the one kid that was like hurt, like laying there, and his mother came in and started crying, and he jumped up and was like, oh, like it's whatever he said in his language. I think he was saying it was fake or I'm okay. Sorry, he kept saying I'm okay, and the mother was like looking at him like, what the hell are you doing then? And then the camera, swung away and went somewhere else. And there was a couple videos like that. So I'm like, we're being lied to by both fucking sides. Who do we believe? So, in the end, I don't give a fuck what happens to anybody over there. They keep throwing the kid angle at us so that we feel bad that the kids are dying. And yes, if kids are dying, I think we will feel bad. But ultimately, I don't give a shit. I'm not getting in my car, going to the airport, flying over to Israel to help fight. I'm not going to go help the Palestinians fight. It's not going to disrupt my day-to-day here. It's not my problem. It's their fucking problem. They have to deal with it.
Exactly.
If you want it to be a problem and you want to support them, you have to go over there and support them. You can't do it from here. You can't do it from the safe haven of New York, 42nd Street, surrounded by restaurants and food, while everybody else is getting blown up, shot up, and starving. It doesn't work that way. Either you put your money where your mouth is and you go to fucking Gaza and you support them, or you shut the fuck up. But you can't do
100%.
Sit here and do both,
100%. They're doing the same thing upstate here with the Ukraine flags, right? Everybody's got a fucking Ukraine flag outside their house, or the little fucking lawn sign now, and the spray paint their front door that says, support Ukraine, defend Ukraine. I'm like, bro, order your fucking plane ticket, go over there and kick some ass, send them some money, or shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it.
Right, and that's the other one, Ukraine shit. I stand with Ukraine. I'm like, all right, fucking start learning Ukrainian or whatever.
Walk your ass over there and stand with them.
Take a fucking plane over there and do some shit about it. But fucking everybody else is, again, they all talk shit. Everybody, I stand with. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who you stand with. I don't care. I hate the fact that people put it on their profiles now, right? I stand with Ukraine. I stand with Gaza. I stand with Israel. I'm like, you just sound stupid standing with any of these people who do not give a fuck about you, never gave a fuck about you. And ultimately, I think these two sides are playing us all the way around. I think the Russians are playing us, the Ukrainians are playing us, Palestinians, Israeli, United States, UK, they're all playing us. They're playing us as fools.
100%.
Most people couldn't find it on the map 3 years ago. Yeah, man. You know what's funny?
True story.
Elite Chief, my parents always had, actually it's inside, we always had a globe growing up, always. And my father would occasionally point to it and be like, "Where's this? Where's that?" Or he would point to it and just show us like where that country is, where they're coming from. Um, but and now I appreciate it being older and now looking at the map and looking at where some places are. Though in the last 30 years, a lot of countries have changed from the globe that we used to look at when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah, totally different, man. Lot of names changed. You know, when Russia, when the USSR fell apart, shit got real fucked up. The stands came in, right? Uzbekistan, this stand, that stand.
Yeah.
Um, all these different countries just sprung up out of nowhere. So it looks like Russia wants it all back, honestly.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
you know what?
and that's the way people are talking.
They can fucking take it. I don't care. It says, what is Russia doing to America? Millhouse, Russia is effectively lying to the United States as well, because anybody who supports Russia was propagandized by Russia. You believe their
Yeah,
bullshit. Um, Never believe the Russians and their bullshit, because again, Russia is like a carbon copy of the United States, and I don't understand
100.
how
Yeah,
people do not understand that. The
yeah,
KGB is just as bad as the CIA, if not a little worse. There were
yep,
people who've gone missing in Russia over the last 20, 30 years. In the United States, we might have had a couple people go missing. But Putin is by far one of the worst dictators. And somehow people like Millhouse goes, I support their right to exist. Again, Millhouse, that's a bullshit propaganda angle. There's Russia is never going to not exist. I don't understand that. They need the right to exist. That makes no fucking sense. Every time people say that to me, it sounds fucking stupid. They're going to exist. No one's ever going to actually effectively bother them. No one. The United States
yeah.
has more children go missing. Bullshit, Millhouse. Most country that has children go missing is not a country. It's the continent of Africa. And any country I can throw a dart at has more kids missing than the United States. Nice try though. Again, Russia's full of shit. You know, it's all bullshit, and people believe it. And like, listen, Millhouse, you can believe Russia all you want. Again, go to Russia then and live there. If you're not going to back the United States, leave. And people like, yeah, but
Yeah.
the United States, this, that, and the third. That's up to us to change that. That is up to us to fucking put our big boy pants and make some big boy moves. You know?
Yep. Yep.
And that's what they said. Why do you think Russia is trying to? NATO is not trying to dismantle Russia. No one is trying to dismantle Russia. Maybe their weaponry, but no one's going to dismantle Russia. Again, Millhouse. That's a backwards way of thinking. There is no way on God's green earth anybody could dismantle Russia. If you believe that, you're believing Russian propaganda. Yet again, you're proving me right as you fucking continue to fucking text or whatever you're doing. It's mind boggling. People are, but Russia needs they don't need shit. Russia's been around for fucking ever. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They'll be fucking fine.
Yep. I agree. I
He goes,
agree. They're
totally
they're
fucked
one of
up.
the
I
biggest
can't.
nations in the world.
Yes, thank you. Millhouse goes, I can't believe you believe that. Like Hudson Valley just said, they're one of the biggest nations in the world. They're going to disappear how? Who's going to
No,
fuck with them to a point to dismantle them? You make
no
no
way.
sense. Yeah, and again,
No way.
Millhouse, he's a Russian spy. No, sorry, he's a Russian shill. He believes they're bullshit. Just like the Chinese, they have this whole propaganda in China. They have us come there. They have these. Oh my God, you got to see some of these YouTubers that talk about China and the way they talk about China. It's fucking bizarre.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you talk bad about China, if you go there, you may not ever leave again.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yep. Sounds like a. He says he goes by the name Millhouse, and a lot of people like Grateful Andre Pepper goes. I agree at Millhouse. Um, the whole reason
Oh, okay,
NATO
okay. I see
was
what he's saying. NATO is trying to dismantle Russia. NATO might be trying to, but let's face it,
it's never
Russia
going to
could
happen.
eat. Russia could eat Europe, like all of it, and just absorb it, no problem. It's not going to work the other way around.
Right.
Russia is far too big territorially. They're huge.
Right. And again, Millhouse, thank you for proving my point. You got to be an idiot to believe that bullshit. I'm sorry. If you believe that bullshit, I got a fucking bridge to sell you with a pot of gold underneath. because that is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the fact that I've heard Putin say that, it's even worse that you believe it. Oh my God. And this is the shit I'm talking about. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about where we fucking sit there and we believe the propaganda bullshit. NATO is not dismantling shit. It's not going to happen. If you believe that, there's something wrong with you. There's something very wrong with
especially with us backing out of NATO. I mean, we are NATO. The United States of America is NATO. The only reason NATO had muscle is because fucking F-35s from America, aircraft carriers from America, nuclear power submarines from America, and America's fucking nuclear warheads. That's why NATO had a set of balls. When we back out of there, we neuter fucking NATO. NATO's got no balls. They got France. Need I say any more?
Yeah. There you go.
And those 6 Polish guys.
Yeah, and hopefully Millhouse is like calming down now, because you know it's funny. The propaganda is so real, it even has fucking Millhouse believing this bullshit.
Millhouse says NATO is not America. Who paid the most money to NATO up until about 2 fucking months ago, Millhouse? Who was the one who funded NATO? When they called NATO and they were like, yo, these dudes are fucking with us. What are we going to do? Did we not send the USS fucking Harry Truman and a couple fucking nuclear powered submarines over there and go, hey, do we have a fucking problem? And then everybody acts right, because let's face it, motherfuckers, the United States of America is the muscle of NATO. NATO was only propped up by the United States of America. We remove ourselves from that and NATO is fucking kaput. It's dust. Any nation out there could wipe fucking the floor with NATO. As soon as you remove the American muscle from it, it's junk.
Yeah, and again, he doesn't get it. He's gonna argue some shit he knows nothing about tooth and nail. And listen,
Ohio Valley Prepping says, "Did France surrender yet?" They're thinking about
it. It's funny because a lot of people, like, I don't know much about the whole NATO thing. I just know that Russia's not going to be dismantled. That's the bottom line. And the fact that anybody, he says, I agree, they're fucked now. Yeah, but again, it doesn't matter. They were never going to get rid of Russia. It was never going to happen. I don't understand how people fucking believe that nonsense. That's bizarre to me. That's almost
that'd be a tough one, man. They are huge. They are humongous territorially. You could divide Russia up into 6 different chunks and leave one little Russia section, and it'd still be a force to be reckoned with, because it's huge. It's huge. You know, China's just a little bottom corner, and then India gets some of that too. But the rest of that whole big fucking block over there belongs to Russia.
Yeah, and again, I don't understand how you're going to dismantle something that big. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
No, I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, it's the only and before that happens, Russia would set off one of the world's worst fucking third world war we will ever see in human history. Before that happens, that's why it would never happen. But again, you know, Millhouse thinks he goes, I remember how it used to be USSR. Yes, USSR before they went bankrupt, before they fucking played themselves into they did that to themselves, trying to buy the fucking the Star Wars program, right? Trying to recreate some shit that never existed, and there was a couple other problems they were having financially, and then they bankrupt themselves, and then they broke apart. But now he's trying to get the band back together. And it's not going to work because other countries are going to put up a fucking fight.
Yep.
But again, I don't understand why believe a known liar? You know, like Putin is a KGB operative, or was a KGB operative. He was one of the best liars on the planet. His wheelhouse, if I'm not mistaken, was what is that shit? The propaganda. There was something else attached to it that he did. That was his wheelhouse. And he's doing it now.
Propaganda and intelligence or something like that. I can't remember what the other one was, but
intelligence. It was intelligence was it, and he thrived in that shit. And now all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe every word he says.
I don't believe any of it anymore, man. It's the Livingston man has said many times that we live in a post-truth era, and I think he's 100% correct. What we're fed is half and whole lies, or just outright propaganda altogether. They often blame the other side for what they're actually doing on a regular basis. So when you see somebody pointing the finger saying that they do this and they do that, just turn the finger around, because it's usually the one screaming the loudest that somebody else is doing it that's actually doing it.
Yes, and that's the crazy shit, is that the crazy shit is that they continue to just fuck with us.
Propagandize.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, again, I use Area 51 as the more recent example of them lying to us for years, saying, "Oh, it did not exist," and then they turn around once they shut it down and they moved all their shit out. They go, "Oh, it does exist, but it's still heavily guarded, right? You still can't just roll up on fucking Area 51." But nonetheless, they admitted that it existed after making people sound crazy for decades that it didn't.
Yep. They love to do that shit. Oh, damn, we hour 5 minutes, homie.
Yeah,
sorry,
no.
boss.
Oh,
10:06.
that is fine.
10:06.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on in 4 minutes, but I got to get ready for the other channel. But listen, Mike, thank you for joining me tonight. That was pretty
No
cool.
problem, brother. Anytime. Anytime.
Yeah, we'll definitely, again, we're gonna continue to do this over the next few years, or however long this fucking channel lasts. And other than that, man, thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. I will see you guys next week for a double header. Yes, I'm off Tuesday. And other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. Mike, I appreciate it. Everybody, good night.
Stay safe, folks.